This is Tailgate Talk, presented by Tarpon Blue. In this series, we're going to show you everything Texas and its surrounding southern states has to offer from our very own tailgate. We'll take you from life on the farm and the ranch to the big city lights. This is Tailgate Talk. Come along for the ride.
Good morning, everybody. This is Wade Dahl with Tarpon Blue Real Estate. We want to welcome y'all into this week's episode of the Tailgate Talks. We're here in beautiful Wimberley, Texas with good friends Matt and Natalie Meeks, who are the owners and operators of Waters Point Resort here in Wimberley, a place you want to make sure to come and stay to and visit, whether you're having a vacation or a wedding or a family reunion or just want to spend the weekend. I'm going to let them talk a little bit of history about the resort here, and so I'll turn it over to Matt, and then Natalie's going to give us a rundown on all the things they have to offer here. So thank you all for being with us this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. So just a little bit of history on the resort itself and the property. My great-grandparents purchased the property in 1932. It was originally Camp Wimberley, which was primarily tent camping. They lived in Austin at the time. They vacationed in San Marcos, and one weekend after vacation, they decided, hey, let's take this different trip and let's go through Wimberley. And so they came here and fell in love with it. And my great grandma, at the time, they had owned a car dealership in Austin, and they sold it, and they said, let's move here. So they moved here in 1932. Took over the property and ran it. It was Camp Wimberley up until 1950. I believe 1950 is when my grandparents, Chester and Jane Franklin, ended up buying the property, which used to go all the way past the big bridge that runs over Ranch Road 12 over the Blanco. It used to go past that. When they purchased it, they split it up with some of the siblings. And so they kept the resort side of it. A couple houses were still kept toward the end of the property. And they changed the name of the resort then to Rio Bonito Resort. In 2016, Natalie and I had approached them because, they were kind of, my mom had been doing it for so long. Dad had just retired from being a PE coach, teacher for so long. And so they were looking into kind of semi-retiring, but not having as much of the resort at the time. There's 14 cabins. They wanted a little less work. So they ended up selling the property to us. In the midst of selling the property to us, the flood of Memorial Day flood hit and wiped us out. So we kind of had to regroup and come up with a different plan. And we were lucky enough to find someone to back us and took over a majority of the property at that time. They still kept Rio Bonito Resort with 3 cabins, and we took over the rest, starting from the ground up. The business plan at the time was to start up and take in revenue right away and move on, but with the flood wiping everything out, we had to rebuild. And so that was 2016, and we tried to do about 2 cabins a year to remodel, get them up and going, and now we are 1 cabin away from completing it. So, and then we just recently, almost a year ago, purchased Rio Bonito Resort from Dad, and now we operating all that as the Waters Point.
Yeah. So you've got the whole thing now.
We got the whole thing now. Dad still lives on location, has the tennis court, has his homestead right there, and then the plans from here is just kind of to finish up the last cabin we got, kind of remodel some of the other ones that we just purchased. But we transitioned in 2016 from being a primary summer resort into a event center. Just doing some, you know, local, what was big in the area. And Dripping Springs at that time was named, I think, wedding capital of the world or whatever of the United States. Texas. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And so we went ahead and decided that we changed our model to more of the rec hall instead of being pool and a pool and a rec center. We would go into doing like an event center. Yeah. And so that kind of really transformed what that was to what it is today. And so we shifted in that direction, and with the good Lord, we've been able to really bring it back, keep it in the family, change a little bit of what really it is, but still do a lot of what we always did. You know, we still have groups that come down here that stay in the summertime, come rent out all the cabins, bring their whole family. Been coming longer than I've been alive. Yeah. You know, I mean, they've been coming almost 50 years when they were kids, and so that's the special thing about this, and why it's so important for us to keep it together is just the tradition of what Wimberley is, a small community that offers so much in the tourism. The square from us is less than a mile away. I mean, we're a good golf shot, a good golf shot away from downtown Wimberley. And the best thing is, a lot of people when they come here for the first time, you know, they'll go through the square and then they'll pull in here, and it's like, wow, we're just felt like we were kind of inside the city, and now we're all of a sudden out in the country again. And so that's something special that we continue to try to hold on to.
Well, that's real special, and I didn't realize when you said originally 1936.
32.
32.
Yeah.
So you're almost 100, and I got to tell y'all how proud that makes me feel that Old Time Family is continuing the tradition here. And I know it was a lot of hard work, and for a lot of our viewership that doesn't know about the flood we had here, how far underwater would we have been standing right here?
So this actually, I'm glad you asked that. This was actually a cabin.
Yeah.
This was we would be right now
the porch.
Was it the porch? Mm-hmm. Yeah. This was the porch, and then right behind us, it was on pier and beams, and it was the living room. It was just an efficiency side. There was a kitchen, a living room, bedroom, and a bath. Yeah. And when the flood hit, the water hit it, and it pushed it off, and it went down and actually floated down the road and smashed into one of the biggest cabins we had. And the next morning, we found that it was wiped in. But if you were to ask how high, it was over this. It would be, I'd say probably 3 or 4 feet higher than this rock wall is where the water would have been.
And in relation, the rivers behind us, we're probably 22, 24 feet above the river now. Mm-hmm. So that water in total was probably 35 feet deep. And to hear the story of them rebuilding these cabins, y'all can't believe the undertaking, the cleanup first and then the rebuild. So, I mean, that's pretty special. And y'all had a lot of work to bring it back to the beautiful grounds it is now. And so, Natalie, we know you run the show here. And please let us all know the activities y'all have to offer, the services from both the wedding venue, just everything y'all offer now.
Yeah, so we still do offer the overnight accommodations, and we do still cater towards vacation rentals, especially the months of July and August. What's been really beautiful is with the addition of the wedding venue, it's very complimentary of our existing business. So in the fall and the spring is our really heavy months for weddings. So what we've kind of transitioned and niched into is we have our wedding venue and then the on-site accommodations, which kind of lends itself to destination weddings. Yeah. So the majority of our customers, our clients, they'll check in on a Friday, maybe do their rehearsal dinner or their walkthrough here on property. They'll check into all of the lodging. As of today, we could accommodate about 65 overnight guests. When we finish, our final cabin will be at 75. And then they simply wake up the next morning, they walk down the hallway to the bridal suite, start getting ready. We can provide mimosa brunches and box lunches while they get ready. Yeah. Then they'll move into their wedding that evening. We offer events from just kind of your day-only package all the way to like a true all-inclusive, which we call everything but the dress. Then what's really nice is at the end of the night, they just kind of wander back down to their cabins, and most of them don't have to drive anywhere. We're very fortunate with our proximity to additional lodging. I believe we can sleep, at the last count, about 200 overnight guests within walking distance of our property, in addition to us. And then from there, the next morning they wake up, we can offer farewell brunches, we can do all sorts of different little events for them, and then typically they'll check out Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, well, awesome. That's taking care of a lot of people. Yeah. I know you got to have a good staff to do all that, and it's a lot of work.
Oh, we do though, yes.
That's awesome. I just want y'all to know in closing here that this is Waters Point Resort here in Wimberley, Texas. A great place to come have your wedding, reunions, events. Check them out when you come here. If you don't, you're missing out. But we will see you next week on the next episode. Thank y'all.
Thanks for tuning in today, and thank you to our guests for sharing their story. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time on Tailgate Talk.
We'll tell you things.